was sure he'd never find out until he checked my car and discovered everything.
Hey Reddit, I'm Sarah. I've been a huge fan of this app for a while, but I've never really posted much. It's my first time sharing a story, and I hope this community can offer some understanding. My husband David and I have known each other all our lives. We grew up together, went to school together, and eventually fell in love. It's been 6 years since we got married, and we've always dreamed of starting a family together. David is 34 years old. He's a very talented programmer and makes a very good living working from home. He comes from a wealthy family, so he doesn't have to work as much. I, on the other hand, am 33 years old. I work a regular 9-to-5 job in an office. It's not glamorous, but I've never really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Plus, the job gave me time for my affair. We met as children, growing up in the same neighborhood. Our parents were friends, so we spent a lot of time together, playing and exploring the world around us. As we grew older, our bond only grew stronger, and it was no surprise to anyone when we fell in love. One thing that David and I have always dreamed of is starting a family. We didn't have any children yet, but we were hoping to change that in the next few years. We talked about it often, imagining what our children would be like, how we would raise them, and the adventures we would have as a family. Our childhood together was filled with so many memories. We were always getting into mischief, exploring the woods behind our houses and dreaming about the future. David was always the adventurous one, coming up with crazy ideas and dragging me along for the ride. I was more reserved, but I loved his sense of adventure and the way he pushed me out of my comfort zone. One of my earliest memories of David is from when we were about 5 years old. We were playing in the backyard, pretending to be pirates on a grand adventure. David had found an old map in his attic, and he was convinced it led to buried treasure. We spent hours digging in the dirt, searching for treasure that was never there, but it didn't matter. We were together, having the time of our lives. As we grew older, our bond only grew stronger. We went through all the ups and downs of childhood together, supporting each other through thick and thin. We were there for each other's first crushes, first heartbreaks, and everything in between. Our friendship was the foundation of everything we would become, and I'm so grateful for it. High school brought its own set of challenges, but we faced them together. David was always the smart one, acing his exams without even trying. I, on the other hand, had to work hard for my grades, but David was always there to help me study and encourage me to do my best. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and I'm forever grateful for that. It was during our high school years that our relationship started to change. We went through our awkward teenage years together, supporting each other through the ups and downs of high school. And when we finally admitted our feelings for each other, it was like everything clicked into place. We began to see each other in a new light, and what had once been a close friendship blossomed into something more. It was a scary and exciting time for both of us, but we knew deep down that we were meant to be together. After high school, we went our separate ways for a while, each pursuing our own dreams and aspirations. David went off to college to study computer science, while I stayed behind to work and save up for my own education. Despite the distance, we stayed in touch, talking on the phone for hours and visiting each other whenever we could. Our love has been a constant source of strength and joy in my life. David was my rock, always there to support me, to make me laugh, and to hold me when I cried. I can't imagine my life without him, and I'm so grateful for the life we've built together. I regret what I did, honestly. David is never going to forgive me. After we both graduated, we decided to take the next step in our relationship and move in together. It was a big decision, but we knew it was the right one. Living together brought us even closer, and we quickly settled into a comfortable routine. David continued to work in the tech industry, while I found a job in an office working 9 to 5. As the years went by, our love only grew stronger. We supported each other through all of life's ups and downs, celebrating each other's successes and comforting each other in times of need. David was my rock, always there to lift me up when I was feeling down and to make me laugh when I needed it most. After a few years of living together, David finally popped the question, and of course I said yes. We were married in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by our friends and family, and it was the happiest day of my life. I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, as long as I had David by my side, I could face anything. Our journey together has been filled with love, laughter, and countless memories. David is my soulmate, my best friend, and the love of my life. I can't imagine my life without him. 6 years into our marriage, everything seemed perfect. We were making really good money, we loved each other deeply, and we made sure to have regular date nights to keep the spark alive. Life couldn't have been better. Until I messed it all up, that is. The only issue in our marriage was my dissatisfaction with David's sexual performance. It's not that he was bad, but he wasn't exceptional either. I hate to admit it, but I felt like he was just there, going through the motions, like he was just there and his tool was, well, average. His performance matched his size, average. For a long time, I wondered what it would be like to be with someone, bigger. David was attentive and caring, and he always made sure I was satisfied. But there was something missing, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. I know it sounds shallow, but it was something that weighed on my mind. I loved David, and I was happy with our life together, but I couldn't shake the curiosity about what else was out there. I tried to push these thoughts aside, to focus on the good in our relationship, but they lingered in the back of my mind, nagging at me. I tried to push these thoughts aside, to focus on the love and connection David and I shared. But the more I tried to ignore them, the more they crept into my mind. I felt guilty for even thinking about it, for wanting something more when I had such a wonderful husband who loved me unconditionally. But the thoughts persisted, gnawing at me from the inside. I tried to bury them under the facade of a happy marriage, but they refused to stay hidden. I knew I had to address them, but I was scared of what it might mean for my marriage, for David. I kept telling myself that it was just a phase, that it would pass with time. But deep down, I knew it was more than that. I was craving something more, something different, and I didn't know how to reconcile that with the life I had built with David. Other than that, our life together was mostly smooth sailing, with the occasional bump in the road. We had our disagreements and arguments like any couple, but we were always able to work through them, or so I thought. I tried to push the thought out of my mind, to distract myself from it. I even tried to incorporate different things into our sexual life to spice it up. But no matter what I did, I couldn't shake the curiosity that lingered in the back of my mind. Looking back now, I know it was my fault. I was so blinded by my desire for something more that I didn't see the damage I was causing. It was around that time that a new coworker came into the picture. He was young, handsome, and charming, and it seemed like everyone in the office was drawn to him. They picked me to train him, and I was fine with that. I saw it as an opportunity to focus on something else, to distract myself from my own thoughts. At first, everything seemed normal. He was eager to learn and seemed genuinely interested in the work. But then I started noticing little things, like how he would go out of his way to be overly nice to me. He would bring me lunch, bring me coffee, help me with tasks even when I didn't ask for it. He would volunteer to stay overtime and help me with projects, even though he had no obligation to do so. At first, I didn't think much of it. I figured he was just trying to make a good impression, to show that he was a hard worker. But as time went on, his behavior became more and more obvious. He would find excuses to be near me, to touch me in subtle ways that made my skin tingle. He would compliment me, telling me how smart and beautiful I was, how lucky David was to have me. I tried to ignore it, to brush it off as harmless flirtation. But deep down, I knew it was more than that. I could feel the tension building between us, a dangerous spark that threatened to ignite at any moment. And as much as I tried to resist it, I found myself drawn to him, to the thrill of the forbidden. I knew I was playing with fire, that I was risking everything I had with David for a fleeting moment of excitement. But I was too curious, too blinded by my own desires to see the danger I was in. His name was Jaden, and the attraction between us was undeniable. I tried to avoid it, to resist the temptation, but honestly, I did a half-assed job at it. There was something about him, something magnetic and intoxicating that drew me to him like a moth to a flame. I knew I should have reported his behavior to HR, that I should have put a stop to it before things went too far. But the truth was, I enjoyed the attention. After years of feeling unsatisfied and unfulfilled, Jaden's compliments and flirtatious gestures were like a breath of fresh air, a validation of my worth and desirability. I told myself that it was harmless, that I was just indulging in a harmless fantasy. But deep down, I knew it was more than that. I was playing with fire, risking everything I had with David for a taste of something new and exciting. Despite my best intentions, I found myself continuing to flirt with Jaden. I knew it was wrong, that I was risking everything I had with David for a fleeting moment of excitement. But there was something about Jaden, something intoxicating and irresistible that drew me to him like a moth to a flame. I tried to avoid him, to stay away from situations where we would be alone together. But that wasn't really feasible, as Jaden worked in the same department as me, and our jobs often required us to work closely together. And to make matters worse, Jaden was incredibly charismatic, with a charm that was impossible to resist. It was as if there was this unusual magnet pulling me towards him, no matter how hard I tried to fight it. I want to make it clear that I still love David with all my heart and wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. He was my rock, my soulmate, and the love of my life. But there was just this underlying curiosity, this desire to experience something new and exciting. I knew it was selfish and reckless, but I couldn't help myself. I just wanted a taste, a 1-minute piece of this guy to see what he tasted like and then bounce. I knew it was wrong, but the thrill of the forbidden was too strong to resist. And then a rumor started going around at work. I'm not even sure how it started, but suddenly everyone was talking about it. The rumor was that David had a huge tool. Now let me give you some context. The place where I work is quite huge, not like HR nightmarish huge, but still big enough that there are lots of employees. Despite the size, we're a tight-knit family and tend to all like each other. It was during one of our girls' nights out that the rumor really took off. Some of the girls at work had slept with Jaden. I know it sounds crazy, especially considering he was flirting with me while still sleeping with other girls at the office. But that's beside the point. The girls who had slept with him started talking about him, and somehow the topic of his endowment came up. They said he had a really huge tool and that he was really, really good in bed. They talked about it as if it were the most natural thing in the world, laughing and joking as if they were discussing the weather. The rumor spread like wildfire through the office, fueled by gossip and speculation. Now, mind you, while all this was happening, Jaden knew I was married. Funny, or should I say sadly enough, he also had a girlfriend. In fact, they lived together, and I only found this out from one of the other girls he had slept with. But either way, the rumors continued that Jaden had a big tool, and I started getting really curious. Considering my husband's size and the fact that I've always wondered what it would be like to try something else, if I should put it like that. I know now that what I did was so wrong, but back then, I just really, really wanted a taste, and then I became intoxicated with it. So, like every other office rumor, the rumor came and went, but I was still very, very curious about it. Things continued for a while, the flirting, the back and forth between me and Jaden. We would flirt with each other, pretending that we weren't, dancing around the attraction that simmered between us. It was like a game, a dangerous game that I knew I should stop playing, but I couldn't help myself. Despite my better judgment, I found myself drawn to Jaden, drawn to the excitement and thrill of the forbidden. I knew it was wrong, that I was risking everything I had with David for a fleeting moment of pleasure. But in that moment, none of that mattered. All that mattered was the tantalizing promise of something new and exciting, something that I couldn't resist. I decided to be a little more friendly with Jaden, which now I know was really, really wrong, and I honestly don't have any excuses for what I did, to be honest. Looking back, I shouldn't have even been friendly with him in the first place while I was training him, but what's done is done. I extended an olive branch to him, starting to thank him for what he would bring me. If he brought me coffee, I would thank him. If he brought me lunch, I would thank him, stuff like that. I started appreciating him, not just for the things he did for me, but for who he was. I started dressing up well to suit his taste because honestly, I enjoyed the compliments. And that was when we started talking on the phone. We had each other's numbers and even each other's Discord, but we had never really talked much because I never replied to his messages, and I guess he really didn't want to bother me much. But now, I started replying to his messages, and we started chatting more. We found out we had a lot in common, liked a lot of the same stuff. It was easy to talk to him, to laugh with him, to share little moments of our day. It was like we had known each other for years, even though we had only just met. We had so much in common, Jaden and I. He was just so charismatic and easy to talk to. I found myself getting lost in our conversations, forgetting for a moment that I was a whole-ass married woman. It was as if I was back in college again, back in high school again, when life was simpler and full of possibilities. I'll admit it now, I did cheat on my husband back then in college. He doesn't even know because, well, I never told him. I was a little more careful back then. We went to different colleges, and I made sure to cover my tracks. My husband came from a very well-privileged family. He went to this huge, prestigious university, while on the other hand, I had to stay back and save up for my education. Of course, my husband suggested paying for me, but I refused. I wanted to be independent, and deep down, I really didn't want to go to the same university as him. There's this thing about going into college with a relationship. It kind of constricts you. A lot of the things that people usually do in college, you won't be able to do them. Go to parties, have random hookups and stuff like that because you're trying to be loyal to someone. It was just hard. I cheated on him a lot of times, but he never found out. Well, until this incident with Jaden. Anyways, it was as if I was back in college again, enjoying my college days, reliving the thrill of being young and free. At that point, my husband started noticing that I was becoming very distracted with my phone. I mean, how couldn't he? I was on my phone texting away all day, morning and night. The only exception was when I was in the office because I got to see Jaden face to face. But every other time, at home or anywhere else, I was on my phone 24 hours chatting with him about something. My husband noticed this and tried to talk to me about it, but I just brushed him off. I told him things were fine and that I was just a lot more distracted with my phone than usual. I felt guilty for lying to him, for betraying his trust, but I couldn't bring myself to stop. I was addicted to the thrill of talking to Jaden, to the excitement of our secret conversations. After about a week of chatting, Jaden and I started hanging out outside of work. We would meet up for coffee or lunch, always careful to keep our meetings secret. It was exhilarating, meeting up with him, knowing that what we were doing was wrong but not caring. The attraction between us was undeniable, and I found myself drawn to him more and more with each passing day. I knew I was playing with fire, risking everything I had with my husband for a moment of excitement. But in that moment, none of that mattered. All that mattered was the thrill of the forbidden, the exhilaration of being with someone new and exciting. Jaden and I would hang out for a while. At first, it was just short hangouts because we couldn't go to his house as he lived with his girlfriend, and we couldn't go to my house because my husband was always home. However, soon we started hanging out more and more, and before we knew it, we were hanging out for hours. We would go to the cinema to watch a movie, and we would touch each other here or there, but never taking things further than that. It was as if there was this force pushing us to cross these boundaries, and one day, we finally did. On that lucky, or should I say, unfortunate day, Jaden's girlfriend was out for the weekend and invited me over to watch a movie. I went excitedly, knowing that this was our chance to be together without any interruptions. My husband was at home, so Jaden and I couldn't go there, and thankfully his girlfriend was out for the weekend. That's where me working a 9-to-5 job came in handy because I started telling my husband I was working overtime just so I could hang out with Jaden. I would go on dates with him, go see a movie with him, all the while telling my husband I was working overtime and stuff like that. So I went over to Jaden's house to watch the movie. It started off fine. We watched the movie and we really liked it. It was very interesting and very emotional. And well, in between that we kissed. We started making out, unable to resist the attraction that had been building between us for so long. Things progressed pretty quickly between me and Jaden. Before I knew it, I had made one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I slept with Jaden. Of course, I was horrified. I'm not that callous. I regretted this. I knew what I had done was wrong, but it was honestly good. My husband has always been average. His performance averaged, but Jaden was extra large, and his performance was just so much better. Not that my husband is bad, though, but I mean, you get what I mean. It was as if my eyes had been opened to a world of new possibilities. I knew I had messed up big time, but a part of me couldn't help but feel exhilarated by the experience. It was like I had been living in black and white, and suddenly I was seeing the world in color. Jaden had awakened something in me, something that I had never experienced before. But of course, the guilt soon set in. I knew I had betrayed my husband in the worst possible way. I had broken his trust, shattered our marriage vows. And for what? A moment of pleasure? It wasn't worth it. It would never be worth it. I immediately regretted it. I knew I had to leave, so I picked up my stuff and I left. I headed home feeling so guilty. My husband thought I was working overtime when actually I had just cheated on him. I felt really guilty. I even suggested cooking dinner that night, even though my husband was usually the one that handled the house chores since he worked from home. He was surprised but fine with it. I was extra attentive to his needs that night. I think my husband must have even noticed it, and he asked me if anything was wrong, but I told him it was not. He even mentioned that I wasn't on my phone as usual, and I told him that I wanted to take a break from phones that night. The next day I went to work, and well, Jaden was there, just being himself, being nice, complimenting me, trying to strike a conversation with me. He told me it's not my fault, and maybe I shouldn't have believed him, but I honestly needed someone else to take the blame. Jaden had a way of making everything seem fine and bright and sunny. He had a way of making you forget your problems and your biggest troubles. He was just really charismatic. It didn't even take me up to a week before I fell for him again. And before I knew it, Jaden and I were having a full-blown affair. I would tell my husband I was working overtime when actually I was going to be with Jaden. It was extra hard for us because Jaden stayed with his girlfriend. They lived together, so we couldn't go to my house because my husband worked from home, and we couldn't go to Jaden's house because his girlfriend lived with him. She ran an online business too, so she rarely ever left the house, except if she wanted to do deliveries by herself, or if she was hanging out with friends and stuff like that. Jaden and I didn't want to risk going over to his house because what if his girlfriend then came back sooner than she said she would? I didn't want to be embarrassed by anything or be caught with someone else's boyfriend, so we stayed clear of Jaden's house. At first, we would rent hotels, but there was also the fear of someone seeing us in the hotels or entering the hotel. What if I entered a hotel with Jaden and my husband's brother or sister or relative saw us? What would I say? I would have absolutely no excuse. We tried to be careful, meeting up in secluded spots or going out of town for our rendezvous. But the fear of being caught was always there, hanging over us like a dark cloud. And yet the thrill of being with Jaden, of experiencing something new and exciting, was too strong to resist. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but in those moments with Jaden, none of that seemed to matter. All that mattered was the rush of adrenaline, the excitement of the forbidden, the thrill of being with someone who made me feel alive again. So we started using my car. Sometimes we would be intimate in Jaden's car, and other times in my car. We always switched. It was much easier that way, as we could just wait for everyone to leave the office and be the last ones to leave. We would then find a secluded spot and indulge in our affair. But as they say, once you stop focusing on something else and stop putting in the work, like once you stop focusing on your relationship or marriage and you stop putting in the work and the effort, you start unconsciously distancing yourself from your partner. And that was what I was doing with my husband. I started unconsciously distancing myself from him. We weren't as close as before. We weren't going on date nights as much as we used to, because I would come back from going out with Jaden and I would just tell my husband I was tired, and we would just cancel the date nights for the night. Of course, my husband was confused. He honestly tried his best. He fought for our relationship, but I just regret it so much because it was as if I was just watching my husband fight for our relationship and I was just so far gone. I was so invested in Jaden that I didn't even pay attention to my husband or to my marriage. It's funny how you can be so blind to what's right in front of you. My husband was there trying his best to make our marriage work, and I was off with Jaden, living in a fantasy world. I didn't realize how much I was hurting my husband until it was too late, and by then the damage was done. I wish I could go back and change things, but I can't. All I can do now is try to make things easier for my husband when we eventually meet in court for divorce as a way to try and repair the damage I've done. But I know it won't be easy. Trust once broken is hard to mend, and I don't know if my husband will ever be able to trust me again, and even just be friends with me. So things continued for a while. I continued my affair with Jaden. In fact, it started to become a regular routine. I won't lie to you. I started to become sloppy in the way I was hiding my affair. I reckon that if my husband didn't notice anything, then there was no need in being extra sneaky. I started becoming lazy. I started becoming sloppy. I was withdrawing from my marriage. Everything was just kind of falling apart around me and I didn't really notice. Also, I started to unconsciously distance myself from my friends and family. I stopped going out with them, stopped calling them, stopped checking up on them. My whole world was consumed by my affair with Jaden, and I didn't realize how much I was neglecting everything else in my life. But as they say, the truth always has a way of coming out. And for me, it came out in the most unexpected way. One day, my husband decided to clean my car. He was always so thoughtful and caring, always doing little things to make my life easier. I was really tired. I was just too tired. I guess I seemed a little lazy that day. I had forgotten to discard the napkin and the condom that Jaden and I used. It was still in the car. I felt a little too lazy to go to the car wash, so my husband was just like, you know what? Let me just wash the car for you because it's been a while. So my husband gets the hose and stuff like that to go wash the car, and I'm just resting in bed for like 5 minutes until I hear my husband scream. I honestly thought he had seen a snake or something, so I ran out to meet him only to see that my husband was holding the napkin in which I had put the condom that Jaden and I had used. It was an extra large size because, like I said before, Jaden has a huge tool, so that was how I fucked up my marriage. My husband looked like he was about to cry. When my husband found the condom, I was stunned. I tried to explain to convince him that it wasn't what it looked like, but my words came out all wrong. He just stood there, holding it, his eyes filled with hurt and anger. I felt like the worst person in the world. In a last-ditch effort to fix things, I started to spin a story. I told him it wasn't me, that it must have been someone else. I even thought about getting a coworker to lie for me. My female coworkers are big on the girl code stuff, and since I'm close to a lot of them, they would have immediately lied for me if I called them in front of my husband. But deep down, I knew that wouldn't fix anything. My husband deserved the truth, no matter how much it hurt. But he didn't believe me. He accused me of lying, of breaking his trust. He looked so hurt, so crushed, that I couldn't stand it. I tried to explain, to make him see that it was a mistake, that I still loved him. But he just walked away, leaving me standing there, feeling lower than low. My husband's words hit me like a ton of bricks. He stood there, seething with anger, and told me to get the hell out of his house. He called me a betrayer and said he couldn't believe that while he was trying his hardest to fix our marriage, I was off having sex with someone else in the car he bought for me. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. All this time, he'd been trying to understand why we weren't as close as before, and I'd been betraying him. The guilt and shame washed over me, knowing that I'd destroyed everything we had. As he walked away, I knew there was nothing I could say to make it right. I had messed up, big time, and now I had to face the consequences. After my husband stormed out, I didn't even have the guts to call him back. I just sat there, feeling the weight of my shame crushing down on me. I knew this was all my fault, that I had messed up big time. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, my phone rang. It was Jaden. I picked up, my anger boiling over. I cursed at him, screamed at him, told him I never wanted to see his face again, not even at work. I couldn't bring myself to leave. Despite everything, I wanted to salvage my marriage. So I waited for my husband to return. When he finally came back about 5 hours later, he was genuinely surprised to see me still there. He asked why I hadn't left as he had told me to. I tried to apologize again, but he wouldn't listen. Eventually, he agreed to hear me out. I told him everything about my affair with Jaden, how it started, and all the moments I had shared with him. I admitted that I was curious and wanted to experience something different, but I regretted it deeply. My husband listened, but his decision was clear. He said he needed time to think and asked me to leave. I tried to plead with him, hoping he would forgive me, but he was firm. He told me he needed space and that there was no way he was leaving his house for me. I realized then that he was serious, that he might never forgive me. I packed up my things, feeling a deep sense of loss. He wouldn't even let me take the car he had bought for me. I called an Uber, knowing that this might be the end of our relationship. Despite everything, I still held on to a tiny modicum of hope that my husband might forgive me. We had been together all our life, and I couldn't imagine life without him. He was my best friend, my companion, my all-in-one. We had known each other since childhood, so how could he just not forgive me? As a show of faith to my husband, I decided to quit my job. I packed up my stuff and called an Uber, heading to my parents' house. Thankfully, they were understanding. I didn't lie to them. I told them the truth about my affair. They were very angry because they loved my husband as if he were their own son. But they were also my parents, and they couldn't just discard me like that. They had to let me in. Thankfully, my parents let me in, or I would have been homeless. As soon as I arrived, I called my boss and resigned on the spot. He was surprised. I hadn't given any notice. I explained it was an emergency and apologized. I loved my job, but I had to leave to avoid seeing Jaden if I ever wanted my husband to forgive me. I told my boss I'd collect my things later. Thankfully, I didn't have really important stuff at the office. In fact, most of the stuff there was just work I would have had to turn in anyways. My husband wasted no time in crippling me financially. Within days, he cleared out our joint account, leaving me with only about 20% of the money. Most of the money was his, but it felt cruel. That was a harsh reality check. Once the money was gone, I realized he would never take me back. Everyone tried to help. My parents, even my siblings, called him to plead on my behalf. But cheating was a line that couldn't be crossed. Even they couldn't forgive a cheater. Losing my husband feels like the ultimate punishment for my infidelity. We hardly talk now, and when we do, it's strained. He hasn't blocked me, so I still send him messages, trying to keep the lines of communication open until the divorce is finalized. I've promised him that I'll make the divorce process as smooth as possible by signing every paper without hesitation. I know what I did was wrong, and I'm trying to make amends in any way I can. I've been actively searching for remote jobs because honestly, I'm sick of 9-to-5 jobs. If I had been working from home to begin with, I might never have crossed paths with Jaden, and my marriage might still be intact. But life doesn't offer do-overs and you get what you give. Of course, I couldn't just let Jaden go scot-free. I knew I had to make things right, at least to some extent. Jaden, the person who helped me ruin my marriage, couldn't just get away with it. I found Jaden's girlfriend on Facebook, as Jaden was quite public about their relationship. I sent her a text informing her about Jaden's infidelity and attached screenshots of our messages as proof. After that, I logged out of Facebook and blocked Jaden on every platform, including my calls. So even if he tried to reach out to me, I wouldn't even notice. It was a small gesture, but I felt it was necessary. I had to take responsibility for my actions and ensure that Jaden faced some consequences for his role in the affair. I felt like sharing my story here because I know this community can be really understanding. So thank you for listening. How could I have been so stupid? I knew he was going to find out and I still kept going. Now I'm reaping the consequences of my actions. I was married to him, yet I still went to visit my ex in jail. I betrayed my husband, and when he found out, he was devastated and filed for divorce. It's not my fault entirely, though. I tried to stop the visits, but I couldn't. I was hooked, and my ex had something over me that would have warranted in me losing my marriage, so it was either visit him every weekend or lose my marriage. I lost my marriage in the end because I wasn't cautious enough, so there was no point to it all. My husband couldn't believe I had gone behind his back to visit my ex in jail, but in truth, he had partially pushed me to. He wasn't the complete reason I had started visiting my ex, but he had been part of the reason. It was because of him I had started hanging out with my old clique, and then my ex got word of it and sent for me with a threat over my head. I had wanted to please my husband and had gone and ended the little bit of sanity I had left because when my husband found out, he didn't spare any expense in making sure I would regret my actions. He didn't even think of the fact that I had a child, and I regretted my actions. Now I have nothing. My name is Penny and I'm 28 years old. My husband's name is Oliver and he's 30 years old. I met my husband 5 years ago and have been married to him for 4 years with one son. I had just graduated from college and had a fight with my boyfriend, my ex, so I had gone to the bar to celebrate my graduation because I had no family. My adoption family had put me through college and in my final year wanted nothing more to do with me. The ones I had left were the ones we grew up together in the foster home, and I didn't want to have anything to do with them anyway. We had parted ways as we had left the foster home. My other friends and I, but definitely not my boyfriend. This may seem complicated, trying to understand the relationships. You see, my boyfriend then and my ex now were from my foster home, and when I had cut off the rest of the people I knew from my foster home. He had been there for me until I saw him cheating with a hoe on my graduation, and I couldn't take the pain, so I went to drink. That's when I found my husband. I guess everything was all fate. Fate brought a good man into my life, but I was too stupid and lost him in the end. I broke up with my boyfriend and then started seeing my husband. He brought out the fun side of me and always provided everything. Our love wasn't toxic like all I had known since growing up in the foster home. I loved that, but I betrayed my husband. He proposed a year later after meeting him, and I got married to him in a small wedding with just his family and friends. I had lied and told him I didn't have any family, which in truth I didn't. Our wedding was just intimate and I loved everything about it. He took me on our honeymoon and spoiled me silly. But then, like a rat to a piper, I followed when my ex somehow managed to get my number. I was a sucker for mess-ups and toxicity, I know. While on my honeymoon, I ran into my ex and I slept with him. Don't judge me because we all do stupid things, okay? I slept with my ex while I was already married, and the child my husband thought was his wasn't. When I found out I was pregnant, I had thought my husband would see through my face and find that the child wasn't his. But he didn't do that. He was excited when I told him I was pregnant. I couldn't bring it to him that the child wasn't his. Do you know how devastated he would have been? And then I had just found my family. I wasn't willing to let that go. My husband was ignorant, and I told myself that everything was going to be fine because it was. Of course, I was wrong and stupid. Everything didn't end up fine on my end. I gave birth 9 months later to a boy, and my husband still thought the child was his. 2 years later, I was happy, my son was happy, my husband was happy, then disaster struck. Apparently, my ex found out that the child was his. I had no idea how he found out or that he was still even keeping tabs on me. I had forgotten all about him and everything was fine, and my picture-perfect life that I had dreamed up in the foster home I was living was finally coming through. Then he had to just come and ruin it. Ruin everything that I had worked so hard to hide and cover up. Can you imagine the audacity of that cad? He even sent for me like I was his street rat. Like all those times we would go pickpocketing and he would hold a meeting where we would have to hand over our stash to him. It was crazy. My ex sent for me when he found out that my child was half his. This was before he got sent to jail. He had called and I had answered like someone who had been hypnotized. And do you want to know what this man wanted? He wanted me to leave my husband or he was going to expose me. I thought karma had finally caught up to me for making my husband take care of a child that wasn't his. I thought this time I was going to finally get what I deserved because nothing good came for people like me. I had nothing going on for me. No money, no job. If my husband was to kick me out with my child, I would have to go back to the toxic man that had landed me in the situation in the first place. But then I had a breakthrough. My ex was arrested during a drug bust. I knew because the dimwit had the same audacity to send me a letter from prison and ask me to visit him with his child. I didn't heed that message and left it alone. I lived my life happily for a year before everything crumbled down for good, and my husband found out about my secret. Everything was perfect that year. My husband had given me some money to start up something or just spend on whatever I wanted, but he was going to keep giving me more. I decided to keep the money aside while I thought about what I was going to do with it. He took care of Willie, our son, like his own. No good thing lasts, though. I hope you all know that. A year later, after my ex was busted, I received another letter that if I didn't come to visit him in jail, I was going to receive the consequences of my actions. I had ignored that. The next day, I came home to find my son's room had been vandalized, and on his wall there were paternity tests proving my ex to be my child's father pinned everywhere on the wall. I got so scared, but I couldn't even tell my husband or the police because that was another problem. I removed the papers myself and burned them. Luckily, my husband had traveled for a work trip that weekend, so I took my son to go and see my ex, his real father. That was how I started visiting my ex in jail. I had never planned to do that or make my husband find out that I was doing something wrong behind his back, but I didn't have a choice. And don't say I had a choice to tell from the beginning in the comments. If you had been in my shoes, you would understand the things at stake. My ex was threatening me with blackmail that he was going to tell my husband if I stopped visiting him. I couldn't let him do that, so it was sneak out to visit my ex every weekend rather than my husband finding out that the basis of our marriage was a lie. Willie wasn't exactly the base of my marriage with my husband, but sometimes I wondered if my husband would have let go of me if the child hadn't been in the mix. I had always wondered. Sure, he treated me well during the early stages of our marriage, but the months leading up to our divorce, he had become distant. He hadn't found out about what I was doing then. I was so sure because my husband was a very expressive man. If he didn't like something, he was going to say it, or you could read it in his face. It was like he just wanted to spend one with Willie more than he wanted to be in my presence. I had just chalked it up to work because I didn't have time for it. I had more pressing issues like my ex breathing down on my neck to worry about what was going on with my husband. My ex was turning into a menace little by little. I was already struggling to get out of the house every weekend to go and see him only for the doofus to brag about how he had power over me and could ruin my life anytime he wanted to. I had to lie to my husband almost every weekend that I was job searching, and they were always fixing their interviews on the weekends. He had wondered what type of companies were hiring on weekends and not weekdays. I had to lie again that it was people looking to hire caterers and cooks that were interviewing on the weekends. He didn't believe me, but at least he had left me to do my thing as far as I got back a job. He didn't know I was going to visit someone who deserved to rot in jail for eternity, but that same person was back in my life, and I couldn't ignore the person, or he would definitely expose me to my husband. I lied every weekend, and when all my ex did was brag, I stopped going again and almost landed in trouble. My husband came home and said that he got a text saying I had something I was lying to him about. I had never been more scared in my life. My heart went to my throat when he prodded me to tell him what I was hiding. I had to tell him it was a prank, and I had been the one to prank him because I had a surprise for him. I narrowly escaped that situation by telling him the thing I was hiding from him was that I had finally gotten a job. It was so close, I thought for sure that was the day I was going to be caught. But luckily it wasn't. So I had to continue visiting my ex. I went back the next weekend and he demanded I bring his son the next time I was coming. At this point, keeping the secret from my husband was seriously weighing me down, but I had no other choice. I visited my ex in jail with his baby and begged him that I couldn't be coming in every weekend to see him, that it would raise suspicion. The bastard agreed to my surprise and said since he was in prison, it was good that my husband was taking care of his son till my ex, got out. I was so happy and thought that was going to be the end of it, that I wasn't going to have to see that MF again. I thought for certain I was finally free. I was wrong once again. My ex didn't contact me for another 3 weeks, and when he did again, it came with blackmail. No, not the usual blackmail and threatening to expose me to my husband. This was monetary blackmail. If I didn't give him the sum of $5,000 by the weekend, he was going to kidnap my son and then expose me to my husband. You don't have to tell me how all this would have been avoided if I had just come clean. I know. It was my reality. I lived it. Anyway, I was so scared and panicked when my ex sent the message. Then I remembered I had money stored to a way that I was meant to use to start up something. The total amount of money he was asking for was the exact money I had received from my husband, so I had transferred everything into the account my ex had written out. Desperate times called for desperate measures, so I was broke. And I had lied to my husband about finally working, so I wasn't expecting any money from him. I didn't have any money to even think about running away from it all. Trust me, I had thought about it once, but I couldn't. Then my bastard of an ex started demanding I began visiting him again in jail. I was so naive to think after the first money I had paid him off, he would leave me alone. Wishful thinking, lol. Apparently, my ex found out my husband was well-to-do and wanted me to get my hands on my husband's money, his property, anything. He told me if I did that he was going to leave me alone and forget all about our little run-ins, and like a fool, I believed him. Redditors, you need to understand I was being heavily blackmailed and didn't have any other options in my book. I either did his bidding or get kicked out of my husband's house. I eventually got kicked out, but at that moment I was looking for the best option. And the best option was doing my ex's bidding. So I had to get my hands on my husband's property. Easy, right? Yeah, it wasn't so easy. Recall when I said my husband began to resent me by our 4th year of marriage? Well, not resent me in particular, but I felt like he didn't like me anymore. I confronted him about it, and he had just said he had too much going on at work. That was why it seemed like though he was aloof. My husband could spend days in the office and only come back once before disappearing again. So I had followed him to the office one time and found out what exactly was going on. My husband was seeing another woman. Well, that was what it looked like when I had confronted them at his office, but then it wasn't what I thought it was. My husband wasn't seeing another woman. My husband had found that I had people I actually knew around. I had told him I didn't have anyone when we began seeing each other, and he had ran into one of my foster sisters, Leah, when she had come to apply for a job at his company. She was part of the people I had cut off, and the fact that I had lied that I didn't have any family even adopted was what had made my husband distant from me. Can you believe that? Why hadn't he just come to me to ask me about it or something? He had to go and start interrogating one of those scamming liars behind my back. This was another problem for me. She brought about another problem for me. I had to figure out how to get my husband's property from my ex so he could keep my secret, and I had to also figure out how to keep Leah's claws off my husband and get my husband to trust me again. Anyway, Leah knew why I had cut her off in the first place, because she'd had my ex's D** sea cake down her throat before, and I had caught her, and by some cruel twist of fate, she wanted to come after my husband? Yeah, that wasn't going to work. For formality's sake, I reconciled with Leah in front of my husband, but I knew what she was. My husband was super excited because he didn't know anyone that knew me, and knew how I had grown up and that kind of thing, so he invited Leah to stay over at our house because the lying witch told him she was in between jobs and didn't have any place to stay. So that's how Leah started staying at my place. In addition to this problem, I still had to be visiting my ex every weekend until I got him the papers he wanted. My life was far from palatable at the moment. I apologized to my husband and began doing everything in my power to get him to sign over one of his properties in my name. I really needed to get my ex off my neck before dealing with Leah. I took my husband on dates, with his money, of course. I was broke. I bought him nice things, also his money. He just thought it was mine. I seduced him and made sure things in the bedroom was big and spicy. Nothing worked. No! My ex was getting impatient and Leah was getting on my nerves. I caught her once lurking outside my husband's bedroom, and she claimed to be looking for where the laundry room was. This was someone that had been in my house for 2 weeks, and she didn't know where the laundry room was. I warned her to steer clear of my man, and did you know what this witch decided to do? She decided to bring up my past love life during dinner with my husband. I swear if I could have strangled her without the police raising questions about her missing body, I would have. She wanted to out me. I knew what she was trying to do because I had warned her to stay away from my husband or I would kick her out. So she was trying to get on my husband's good side by telling him information about me. Leah told my husband about my ex and I and how we had been close and inseparable back in the day. That she had actually thought I would have ended up married to my ex and not my husband. All these had been information that no one asked for, but Leah was freely giving it up like the attention-seeking clown she was. My husband was asking questions and Leah was describing my ex. The whole dining conversation had been too tedious and I barely touched my food. But I had gotten the information that she had passed. Leah was trying to tell me that if I did anything to her, she would expose me in front of my husband. So it meant she knew I had been going to visit my ex. I had suspected. I had a cunny snake living with me. How hadn't I seen it? There was one time I had gotten home late from the prison visit and found out Leah wasn't home. She had come back to the house about an hour later and the smile she had given me was one that said, "I know all your secrets, so stop trying to hide." I had passed it off as nothing but the dinner confirmed my suspicions. This meant I had to get rid of Leah. I couldn't stand too many people knowing my secret, and the only way to get rid of her was to make my husband hate her. I decided to frame Leah. That was the only way. I began with framing her for the little things. My husband's missing watch, missing money. Then when my husband complained about his things missing, I blamed it on Leah. Sure, I was a bad person, but I was looking out for myself, and having Leah around wasn't in my best interest, so I had to make her leave. Besides, would you all like to have something that could be a threat to your marriage still stay on just because you didn't want to be a bad person? Well, we all did bad things, and I'm probably sure what I did wasn't even the worst of bad things in the world. Leah, for one, had had my ex's tool down her throat and wanted my husband's piece of meat. What did that make her? Well, I told my husband that Leah couldn't be trusted because she came from the foster home and she was the worst pickpocket of all. I didn't lie about that because I didn't have to. Leah was truly the foster kid with the most crimes and stealing. She got sent out of the homes that had adopted her because she kept stealing from them. And the reason she stole was just so stupid. She liked material things. My husband didn't believe me because he claimed that I was from the same foster home as Leah, and I had turned out all right, so it meant Leah had grown past her evil ways. I had thought my husband was the most gullible and most naive person on earth at that moment. Lol, he wasn't even close to gullible. I was the naive and stupid one. Well, my husband didn't want to believe Leah was evil and kick her out of our house, so I had to resort to more serious means. Fortunately, this also coincided with the time my ex was getting restless in prison and decided to spice up my life a little from jail. He told me that he needed to show off proof that I was still in on the plan, or he was going to direct the paternity test results straight to my husband's mail. I hadn't even known how he had gotten evidence to conduct those tests, but he had them, and that meant he had the upper hand. My ex demanded I give him $10,000 to sort out things or hand over one of my husband's property, or risk my husband finding out that I was a fraud. I couldn't do the latter, so I had to give him the money. I also couldn't borrow $10,000 from my husband without it looking suspicious, so Leah became my scapegoat. It was the perfect opportunity to make her leave my life. My husband had a safe where he kept some money in the house. He didn't know I knew he had a safe, and he didn't also know I knew how to unlock it. I never wanted to resort to that, but I didn't have any choice. My neck was on the line of fire. I took the $5,000 and deposited it into my ex's account. My husband was livid when he noticed the missing money, and I framed Leah. Everything was working out as planned because it seemed as if Leah also seemed to have run into something, so she didn't come over to our house, which made her look more suspicious. In fact, I didn't see Leah again and didn't hear from her until disaster struck. It seemed like she was in talks with my husband after the missing money, but I know she had a hand in ruining my life. I'll get to this. Hello, you could never stand to see me happy, could you, Leah? I handed over the money to my ex and he got off my back for a bit, but he still insisted I visit him at the prison every weekend. I kept to it. I shamefully kept to it. My husband thought I was going for catering events every weekend, so my cover was perfect. I didn't see any need to be careful or that I was being watched. I didn't think I was going to be caught going to visit my ex in jail. Besides, my husband became cool after his missing $10,000. It was like he completely forgot about it, and he didn't seem distant at all. It was like everything was back to normal, but it was just the calm before the storm. There was no way I would have known because I didn't see the need to be careful. I should have seen it. I should have seen it when my husband said we should go visit the prison as a way to give back to society. I hadn't seen anything in it because he had first said we should go visit the foster homes before the prison. So I had just thugs was in a giving spirit even though he had never done this before. But before this, he got me a property. The very thing to my freedom. It was my birthday. He had taken me out to celebrate and bought me nice things, and I was so sad for all the lies I had built in our marriage. We went dancing, and for a while I forgot that I had a blackmailer in form of an X on my neck, and I just danced with my husband. Who knew it would be the last time I would be doing that? My husband took me out for ice cream before we called it a night. When I had gotten home, the papers to 2 condos had been on our dining table. I was so happy because I thought that I was going to finally breathe for the first time in months. I had been disturbing him to do something big for my birthday, so I was either guessing he was going to get me a car or something fancy. I didn't know he would actually pay attention to me and give me the property I had been asking for. It was everything. After my birthday, I paid low for 3 weeks and doted on my husband to show him how much I appreciated him for freeing me from the shackles of my ex, although he didn't know that then. I had almost come to a tail's end over what I was going to do if I couldn't get what my ex wanted, and I got my breakthrough. After the whole excitement of my birthday had died down, I went to visit my ex in prison, and I signed over the properties to him in exchange for my secret dying with him and him leaving me alone. The F*** off sign I had given him as I handed him the papers and left was implanted in my memory because I remember how crude his smile had been there. I should have seen the signs. They had been so clear, and I had been as blind as a bat in daylight. I thought that was going to be all, and for a while it was. Then the worst happened. My ex came back, but this time he had been released from jail. I hadn't even been allowed up to 3 months breathing space before everything I had done came back to haunt me all over again. You see, I didn't know my husband had found me out in my own game. Yep, he had known what I was up to, and it had been since I had framed Leah for the missing money. The visit to the prison had been to tell me he knew what I was up to, but I had been too narrow-minded to think. I had been too wrapped up in trying to cover up my own problems to see the signs. Yep, my stupidity knew no bounds. Everything came to play when my ex showed up to my house one day when my husband wasn't home and he just walked in like he was home. Apparently, he had just decided to stop by and drop a message since he was free. He wanted to see the kind of place his son was living in and if it were conducive enough. That should have raised my warning bells. And it did, but it raised it for the wrong thing. My only thought was that my husband was going to come back any moment and find the bastard lounging around the house like it was his. I told him to get out, and the only way he would agree to go was if I agreed to see him later that weekend, then he would be gone for good. I did a terrible thing. I know I did a terrible thing and I don't need to be told. I made another mistake. Like a rat following the flute of the piper, I was led to my doom. I agreed to go and see my ex at the hotel where he had been staying, and I did a terrible thing. I had a momentary lapse in judgment. I was attracted to the toxic ones and it ruined my life. Know everything I had done that led up to the moment of F going to see my ex at his hotel had been what ruined my life, but this was the cherry on the cake. This was like the wind to deck of cards, the thing to make it all fall apart. Forget that I'm being so poetic. I don't know how else to describe the foolish decision I took by going to see my ex in the first place. I slept with my ex, and that was how my husband caught me. I told you I made a foolish decision. I slept with the very man that had made my life terrible from the moment our paths crossed as I got married. I got into bed with him and my husband opened the door, not looking too shocked to see what I had done. That point in my life, I had been rooted to the bed like a deer in headlights. I had been caught. My whole life was up. My ex had just stood up and shook his head like it had been planned from the beginning. It was he shook hands with my husband and took a bag from the chair and left the hotel room that I realized it had actually all been planned. I asked my husband how long he had been planning this, and he had said ever since he got in contact with Leah, and she told him she didn't steal the money. Then the witch went ahead to tell him, my husband, to look into me and my ex, and that I was going to see him on the weekends and not actually working with a catering company. He had thought everything was a lie, so he had followed me one weekend and found it to be true. Then he had confronted my ex, who then told him how the child under his roof wasn't even his. My ex had then told him how he had blackmailed me to give him $5,000 first, and then $10,000 and I had given him. My ex had also told him about the property I had planned to sign off to him. My husband then revealed that he had then planned with my ex to get me the property and then bail my husband out of jail so he could test a theory. My husband even got my ex to sign over parental rights of our son to him. This meant my ex no longer had any claim to my son being his. Then my husband told my ex to arrange this meeting to see if I would run back to him at the slightest chance, and I had done just that. I had proved my ex was right and my husband couldn't look at my face. I couldn't even say anything. I just stayed rooted on the bed and ashamed of myself because everything I had worked for was finally over and outed in the open. I was caught and played. I had been played. As my husband made to leave, I got on my knees to beg him, thinking since he was calm, he might forgive me. My husband flung me out of his sight and left the hotel. I pursued him with the hotel's bedsheet wrapped around my midriff. I hadn't even thought about the fact that people would be outside the hotel, and my only thought had been to get my husband back, but I had no one else. All to no avail. My husband got into his car and drove off before I could reach him. And that was when I realized myself, but so many people already had their phones out and were recording me. I believe I made the local news. Mad woman chases after husband from a hotel. I got home and found all my things outside the house and the house locked with my husband and son gone. My husband had dropped divorce papers on top my luggages. I guess he had those earlier on and was just waiting for the right time to use it. With nowhere to stay, I had to rekindle my relationship with one of the foster children from my unit, and she allowed me stay at her place. My husband's lawyer invited me to his office 2 days later asking for the papers. I said I wasn't going to sign it until he let me see my son. I should have just signed the papers and gotten out of my husband's hair. The police showed up to my doorstep 3 days after my meeting with my husband's lawyer. My husband had me arrested for stealing the sum of $10,000 from him and forging his signature and trying to sell off his property. Then as revenge, he told me he was going to drop the charges if I signed the divorce papers and signed her parental rights of my son to him. Apparently my ex had done that, and my husband had given him money for it. I signed the divorce papers and whatever he wanted immediately because I couldn't see myself going to jail like my ex, but my husband didn't drop the charges. I didn't have money to hire a lawyer, so I was given a public attorney and I lost the case and was sentenced to 3 years in prison with community service since I didn't have bail. But luckily, I've mixed in with the wrong crowd before, so I got the money from someone to bail myself out of going to jail. Now I'm on the run from this person because I didn't want to be under their servitude. This was how I learned my lesson, and I hope you learn a thing or two from my experience. If only I had confessed everything from the beginning, I wouldn't be in this mess I have found myself in. I don't know why I let it get this far. Now I'm on the run because I borrowed money from the wrong person. My husband and son will be living their best lives without me in it, and my bastard of an ex that had caused all this was also enjoying his life while I was suffering. Lesson learned, Redditors.